Okay.
Hey, Jinshin, how's it going?
Good.
I almost saw a car accident right outside my window. Somebody ran a stop sign, and it was like everyone came to a sudden stop. Adventure, early in the morning.
Which floor is there?
What's that?
Which floor are you staying?
Oh, first, I'm in like a detached house.
What is a detached house?
Instead of like a building with a lot of apartments or condos, it's just like one building that my family and I live in. So it's not connected to any other residences at all.
I see.
Hold on. Hey, Remy.
Hi, Remy.
Hello, Jensen. Hello, Kai.
Let's go ahead and get started. Sad to see that Mark and Albert aren't feeling well. Here's hoping for the best for both of them. Thought we'd just keep it simple with social discussion. What's a book, movie, or show that you've read or seen recently that you'd recommend, and why? I've been really into this newer show on HBO called Perry Mason. It's like a kind of like a detective type show where there's a case where I don't want to give too much away. There's like a murder case, and there's people kind of pitted against each other. So like the police, and then this private investigator. The private investigator is Perry Mason. It's just a really intriguing kind of show with a lot of interesting plot lines. So complex characters, and then just like a plot that just doesn't necessarily follow kind of where I think it's going to go. I think it's 3 episodes in to the first season. But yeah, it's been pretty good. Remy, what about you?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I didn't prepare any answer for this. So I will improvise. I want to introduce you to my brother, Antoine.
Hey.
My older brother is five years older than me, and we are working from home today. So I'm staying at this flat just for the day, and so I know he would have a lot of suggestions for you because he likes science fiction books. For me, I don't know. I watched a few like classical French movies lately, like comedies. So I don't know if you probably don't know these movies. Like it's called Les Bronzés. It's like like a group of friends that goes on vacation. So the first movie is in Africa, I think, like in like organized vacation with like people that do the animations and activities, and yeah, that's really funny. And the second movie, like the movie after this one, is the same idea but in a snow resort in France. So these are classical movies. Yeah, I think I need comedies these days. I like that. Yeah, I don't have other anything to say more than that. Janshin, what about you?
I haven't watched movie for some time, but last one might be a Korean movie called Parasite, which is a story about some poor people or poor family and struggle to live and make money. And then they somehow find a way to pretend to be richer or pretend to be in a different level in a society, and then they try to sneak into some richer people's house to be their kids' teacher or house manager, and earn money from there and try to join their life of higher society. And then it turns out to be a lot of mess. And I really like it because it's actually really funny, and yet it's actually pretty serious at the same time. That it shows some a much different life difference between two societies. And
Yeah,
that's it.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, Parasite is a pretty popular movie. At least here in the States, there's a lot of. There was a drive-in theater nearby that was actually showing it here because it had won the Academy Award, and there's a lot of people who still want to see it who, I guess, can't figure out how to stream it or like buy it online. So I haven't seen it yet, but it's been on my list to watch. So cool.
Cool.
Awesome. Light agenda today with half the team in. I have a few announcements. I wanted to call attention to the security training, the security awareness training. I copied a lot of the content in my announcement from the Slack announcement. I originally got this email and thought it might have been a phishing attempt. So I specifically linked to the what's happening in GitLab notification for it. So please review that and do the training. If you have any questions or any blockers, let me know, and I'll do my best to work through them with you. The next item is just a reminder to use public Slack channels for as much communication as you can. There's a chief of staff OKR or a chief of staff goal to raise public messages in Slack from 19 to 21% for the month of July. And I think an annual goal to get that number to, I thought it was 25%. So on a related note, the quality managers, we made a public channel, quality managers, that we are going to talk about everything that's non-confidential in. So if you're interested in that discussion, feel free to join that channel. But please use public channels. I think we all do a pretty good job in the team channel, but just a reminder. And then the last one on diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Please, just to reiterate from the last few weeks, please make some time to participate in an activity. The last few weeks, we've talked about different activities. I did post a link to the recording for the Fireside Chat with Sid, the Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging Manager, and the Minorities in Tech ERG leads, which I was able to watch live and thought it was very enlightening. So please, please find time to participate in an activity if you're able to. Awesome. Onto the agenda. Remy, would you like to take the first item?
Yeah, cool. So yeah, just like it's basically for your information, but I moved some review apps related files under the tooling directory, and it felt very good. Yeah, I think that's it will help clarify our organization. So I think we could probably also move like danger files under there, and that actually made me think about another idea, which was to create a GitLab danger project to group danger plugins that could be reused in different projects, because right now we have a lot of projects that just duplicate this logic. So it's not related to the point itself, but I'm just thinking about it right now. And I created an issue. I don't know if you have already seen it or not.
Yeah, yep, I've seen that. I like the idea of creating a danger gem. I'll link to that issue. I was
Cool.
just following
Oh,
up the
thank you.
Thank you for creating the issue. I think going through the backstage deprecation, it became a little clearer to me how many other satellite projects use danger.
Right.
And it makes a lot of sense from an efficiency perspective to just bring it all together.
Yeah.
Maybe something that ties in loosely to the next item. So I created an issue to gather ideas and potential KRs for our team OKR, OKR in Q3. I don't have good visibility into what our department OKRs are for Q3 or kind of which ones we'll be supporting or the DRI on. So that's one thing to keep in mind. For now, I just think it would be a good idea to pull together issues that we think may help either organization, like engineering organization or department efficiency improvements. And I'm curious if there's any, like what you just mentioned, bringing danger into a gem may not be fit for a KR, but I think it fits along the theme of an overall efficiency improvement. So I'm curious if there's other ideas that you two have that we could focus on. And I will add them to the issue after our discussion.
I think my next point could be could go into this this list, like using machine learning for triage. Yeah, I think it's a long time that we have this idea, and I think it would be great if we could actually try this. And in general, I was discussing that with my brother this morning. In general, I think that would be awesome to have this feature in GitLab as a feature in the product, like just like enable like auto labeling using machine learning, and that's it. Like you just check a box and poof, you know,
like a dream.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That was one of the things on the list for me. I think test efficiency improvements. So what I'd like to focus on is one of the areas that I should say I think that would be beneficial. So not that I want to focus on is the test mapping. So like being more efficient with the tests that we're running, the specs that we're running, and if we can do that in all specs, so like specs at unit, integration, system, all the way up to end-to-end tests. I think the end-to-end test is hard. It is what we've talked about, but that would be another area that I think would be beneficial. Also something that would benefit the product. So the way that I see that working is we can almost, pretty similar to what we did with the FOSS impact for the test file finder, if we can find a way to make it a component or leverage a component that can be brought into the product or extend the existing component that's there. I think that would be great. Shinshin, anything that you kind of comes to mind for efficiency? And if not, no big deal. I'm just curious. I always like your perspective on these things.
I can't think of anything right now, but GitLab Danger might be my top pick from what I can remember right now, because it's duplicating in a lot of places, and I find that I feel that there's a lot of good implementation or good danger plugins we're using right now in GitLab, but not in other projects. And apparently a lot of different projects are trying to adopt some of them piece by piece. And maybe it'll be a nice step that we extract the gens and try to adopt or try to push it into all the other projects using dangers. That would be awesome, because I know some maintainers in other projects might not be very familiar with making things like this.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. The other thing that came to mind as I was thinking about this, and none of this is in the issue, so my plan is to take the Epic for selectively running tests and this the Q3 OKR planning issue and add some structure to it was either tools or improvements in the reporting or that kind of feed into pipeline on call. So if we have a way to almost do some of that starting analysis that has to be done when there's a pipeline failure, I think that would be a beneficial thing for the department. But also if there's anything that we can do to streamline the master broken responsibility. I think we've done a good job addressing the root cause of focusing on the areas that have the largest risk. So like the FOSS impact job and other efforts, but I think those are a few areas to give some thought to on how we can streamline those processes a little bit more.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Great discussion. I'll summarize it and add it to the issue as when I come back to this later this afternoon. Remy, you want to take the last item?
Sure. Yeah, so the last item about the machine learning for issue triage, I was wondering, I think it was, yeah, I think you said that we would revisit this.
Yeah.
Like soon. I mean, yeah. So
yeah. Originally, I was thinking 13.2. This was maybe at the top of the list for like team OKRs of an area to experiment, and Mark LaPierre's interest in it too. Just kind of like a broader department objective. So I'm going to be talking with Mech in my one-on-one with him tomorrow, just about the department OKRs, and bring this one up in particular as one that I think fits for the department as well, but something that
cool.
each team can own. So
yeah, and
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also curious about like this feature in the product itself. I was curious. I saw that there are at least 3 issues for using machine learning in issue triage, but like all of them are basically in the backlog basically, and there's not a lot of traction. But I was wondering if like the plan groups are have that in their vision, like do they think that it's the future, because I think that could be really a cool feature to advertise for our customers as well, especially for the ones that have a lot of issues, of course. But yeah, I'm just curious what the future teams think about that, about this this idea.
So I'd have to reach out to the plan groups to know if anything has changed. The last that I spoke to someone in plan probably 3 or 4 months ago, their focus area was more on what I generalize as like enterprise readiness type plan updates. So better visibility in boards, better like tracking with issues to, I think what they're calling like iterations and milestones. So providing a way to kind of track issues in a different format that fits with some of our customer use cases. Really kind of meeting where some of our competitors in the plan space are, like boosting some of our functionalities, the primary areas of focus.
Yeah.
I will reach back out though. So I just want to share that context, but I can reach back out and kind of see where this might fit or how our experiment might feed back into the product.
Yeah. I think the tricky thing is that machine learning is like a whole new world that we are not like familiar with, and we probably don't have a lot. Maybe we have some people like familiar with that in the data team maybe, but like it's not just like doing a small iteration to, you know, add a field to a model or something like that. It's like you have to think about the infrastructure, and there's a lot involved. So that's probably why it's not the top priority as well.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that Mark Fletcher and I discussed is how this could be productized is almost like a bring your own solution, bring your own infrastructure solution. So let's say it's a component that ends up using kubeflow. So if you have a linked Kubernetes cluster, it could be something that's almost added as a managed app and then configured on a project or group level. That was one of the ideas that he and I tossed around to, because that's what you just described as the big challenge that I see in making it a product is it almost requires a whole additional set of system resources. And yeah, that was an idea that I had to kind of work around that constraint. But I think getting it working for us first is the best step that we can, not getting it working, but like trying it out for our use case is probably the best
Definitely.
first iteration.
Yeah, if we can show to everyone in the company that this is helping a lot and having a great impact, then it will be easier to sell it to project teams, you know.
Yeah. I definitely agree. But and I think we will have to figure out that where does it run? How does it, all of the system resource and infrastructure needs as a part of our exploration. So that'll give us a better understanding of how, like what customers kind of friction points would be and how they can be streamlined a little bit as it moves into the product.
I would guess infrastructure can be put that way first. Like we can build up a model with the current data set. So and maybe just since the data, when we can build out the data from machine learning, then we can just use it and it probably doesn't need a lot of resource to use the existing data too, because we don't need to more new analysis. So maybe just a pipeline or something can do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is the compute resource intensive task is like building the model. So you, at least that's been my experience with ML. The sending something through the model isn't really that intense. It's really all the for lack of a better, I'm missing the right word, but all the like crunching of the source data to come up with the model. Processing, that was the word I was looking for.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, I really think that would be a really big quality of life improvement. I haven't talked to anyone who really loves the unlabeled issue triage package. And I think this would help us work towards reducing that load or changing the amount of work that's needed for that. So cool. Okay. Thank you for bringing it up, Remy. Anything else that anyone would like to discuss?
No.
Okay. I will get the updates in the Q3 OKR planning issue, and I will catch up with the rest of you async. If Mark and Albert watch this, I hope you're feeling better. See you, everyone.
Cool. Have a good week. Bye-bye.